YouTube, it's Chase, back with another video. A couple of weeks ago, you may have saw my video about whether or not one Rillaboom could defeat 100 Ash Ketchums. If you haven't watched that one yet, check it out. But on that video, I got a comment from Matai5923 talking about a couple of the traits that Ash possesses that would help him specifically in that fight. And it got me thinking about Ash Ketchum as a whole. Ash Ketchum is the trainer we all grew up with, even though he forever remains 10 years old. And during that time, we saw Ash overcome many obstacles, win many tough battles, handle defeat, form relationships with trainers and Pokemon alike, and eventually we saw his journey come to an end. But was Ash even a good trainer? Is he even worthy of being considered in the GOAT conversation? Today, I'm going to look at Ash's battle record, his resume, and overall lasting impact to hopefully come to a conclusion. Trying to find Ash Ketchum's exact battle record without watching every single episode of the anime was sort of a mixed bag of results. I kept finding individual Pokemon win rates, which is important, but it's not exactly what I was looking for. Eventually, I found a Reddit post showing Ash's win-loss record from Kanto all the way to Kalos totaled out to a 70% winning percentage. This included his fights against Team Rocket. To put that in perspective, Michael Jordan, who many believe to be the GOAT of basketball, had an all-time winning percentage of 65.8%. Without breaking down the actual stats, we know this percentage is even higher since Ash also wins the Alola League and the World Coronation Series Championship. I would guess it's closer to 75%, meaning Ash won 3 out of every 4 battles on average. While this is a great percentage, I would like to consider what it looks like in battles that really matter, such as league tournaments and championships. This is where we really get to look at Ash's resume as a whole. Starting with the Indigo Plateau, Ash finished in the top 16. This was his first ever tournament, and he finished in the top 16 out of 200 total trainers. A very good start and something he can build on, which we see him carry that momentum into the Orange Island League, where he becomes the champion. This wasn't a tournament-style league, but he still had to win a very hard-fought battle against Drake and his Dragonite, and to win this at such an early stage in his career was very impressive. Next, we have the Johto Conference. Ash finishes in the top 8 where he loses his match against Harrison, but I think this tournament makes him a better trainer overall, because in the top 16 fight, Ash defeats his longtime rival Gary. This is super important. Not to make another NBA comparison, but this is sort of when that young team finally breaks through against a team that consistently beat up on them in the playoffs. Gary was always looking down on Ash, making fun of him, making him feel like he wasn't good enough as a trainer. And for Ash to finally beat him, and on such a public stage at that, does wonders for Ash's confidence as a trainer and shows that he truly belongs up there with some of the world's best trainers. Next, we have the Evergrande Conference in the Hoenn region. Again, he finishes in the top 8, so there's some consistency there, but this one's also important because he loses to the eventual league winner Tyson. So Ash was right there. He barely loses his match against Tyson, and who's to say that if Ash pulls that off, that he doesn't do enough to win the Evergrande Conference. After the Evergrande Conference, Ash takes on the Battle Frontier, and in my opinion, this is one of Ash's biggest accomplishments of all time. He's able to take down all of the Frontier Brains, even Brandon, which Paul's older brother was unable to do, and we heard how strong of a trainer he was. He's even offered a position as a Frontier Brain, which is an incredible honor and definitely something Ash should brag about. Moving on to the Lily of the Valley Conference in the Sinnoh region, Ash finishes in the top 4. Finishing in the top 4 of any conference is never something to feel bad about, especially when in the semi-final match he had to face Tobias and his team of legendaries. The most important thing about this tournament is that Ash takes down his rival Paul, which means way more to me in this discussion versus losing to an OP team. His battle against Paul is one of my favorites of all time, and you should definitely check it out if you've never watched it before. The Unova region's Virtus Conference has Ash finishing in the top 8 where he loses to Cameron. This is the one stain on Ash's legacy in my opinion. The Unova anime is my least favorite. He goes backwards instead of forwards when it comes to his trainer progression. And I know the Unova region was essentially a new beginning for Pokemon in general, but they retconned Ash into not knowing basic Pokemon knowledge he definitely would have known, and nerfed his trainer skills in general. Plus, I just cannot stand Trig as a rival. The Kalos region's Lumiose Conference has Ash finishing as the runner-up. He gets back to some winning ways here with one of my favorite teams and favorite aces in Greninja. but Alon becomes the champion instead of Ash, and is the one trainer Ash can never beat. I thought for sure this was going to be Ash's first big league win, but the anime had other plans, as we see with the Alola region's Monongo Conference, where Ash becomes the champion. Finally, Ash is the winner of a regional league championship, the first of that region in fact. His Alola team was so stacked, and even though Ash is forever 10, this win was 21 years in the making, and it was so refreshing to finally see him break through as the champion of a league. The Masters 8 was so bittersweet for us fans because this was the end of our hero's journey, and it concludes with him winning the World Coronation Series. I think we all had a feeling Ash was going to win this title, especially when news of a new protagonist was going around. But to win the Masters 8, Ash had to take out Steven Stone, Cynthia, who's viewed as one of the best champions ever, and then Leon, who was undefeated at the time. An incredible run, the hardest path to a championship ever, and this is something that no one else has on their resume but him. Something else I wanted to briefly consider without going into too much detail is that Ash also consistently saved the world from legendary Pokemon threats, starting with the very first movie against Mewtwo. Again, something else no one but him can say. Finally, I want to consider Ash's lasting impact as a trainer. In his own universe, Ash affected the lives of so many people in Pokemon alike. We can see all of the people rooting for him in the Masters 8, even Team Rocket. His Pokemon absolutely adore him, and were cheering him on for Professor Oak's lab. Anyone who came into contact with Ash was impacted for the better. I think the same can be said for anyone who's ever watched the Pokemon anime. Ash taught kids of all ages how to never give up, to be courageous in the face of adversity, to love your friends, and to be kind to those in need. He did all of that while only being a kid himself. The story of Ash Ketchum, while being closed for now, spanned over 1,200 episodes, 20 plus movies, and 26 total years, the age that I am now. The number of people who were affected by him worldwide can never be replicated again. I'm not hating on Pokemon Horizons. I've actually enjoyed it, but there will never be another Ash Ketchum. Ash Ketchum was more than deserving of being the lead protagonist for all those years, and after today, I am definitely certain he has the resume to be considered the greatest of all time. Pokemon is not what it is if there is no Ash Ketchum. In fact, Pokemon might not still be around today if Ash Ketchum never exists. That's all I got for today. If you enjoyed, leave a like and drop a comment down below on who you think is the greatest Pokemon trainer of all time. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. Until next time, it's Chase the Money.